And so here we go. We have Mark 2.0, and we see, wow, this is quite a bit of a delay here. That's 15 seconds he hasn't moved his Vills. Mark, my guy, move a little faster. So Mark 2.0 spawning in the southeast side as the Mongols. And we have zombie killers spawning in the northwest as the French. Whoop. And so we see double scouts actually going to the same spot. A little weird here. And we are moving around, grabbing up as much sheep as possible, and it actually looks like Zombie is going to scout out the other base. And we see right off the bat, Mark 2.0 drop next to the woods and the berries. His stone's kind of close, but his gold is going to be quite far away. And this is something, especially against the French, you're going to have to monitor your gold constantly, especially with knights coming in, and that's exactly what you'd expect from Zombie. He is a little short onto the food right now. He's going to have a little bit of a gold surplus here, but nope, now he's catching up here. Send him back onto the food earlier, so not as clean builds as we saw last game. And last game, as we mentioned, you know, a little bit unexpected outcome, but it's okay. And now we see Mark 2.0 moving out to the gold. He has enough for a Gur now, dropping the Gur. And so he is not opting for any early tower rush shenanigans, anything like that. But one thing you'll notice is look at his food. He does not have enough on food. He has 4 onto the wood line. He needs to pull these and go onto the sheep or onto the berries. He's also snagging the straggler tree. I don't know why. He could be having nice close, more efficient gathering here. Luckily, he does have enough Vills onto food now to get him enough to constantly produce Vills, but actually doesn't have it enough yet, but he needs more on food. He's not going to get enough food surplus to end up getting enough to get feudal age here fast, and those knights are going to be out on the field before he's able to get anything, and this just might end up being over before it even began. We're going to jump up to 4 times speed, just get a little bit quicker into at least the School of Cavalry getting out. We do see it's 803, 804 actually, so he's going to end up dropping that mill. Khan comes in, almost dies, able to escape and snag over some sheep, drops the mill. This is going to be early wheelbarrow coming out from Zombie Killer. We're getting a little bit closer to live here now, but not too much more fast forwarding that we'll do. And look at Zombie. He's already scouting this gold. He knows exactly where he wants to pressure. And now we finally see it is a late. We're gonna go ahead and reveal map all and go back to regular timing. New age begins. It is a very, very late Spearman barracks play coming out. And are we gonna see any sort of tower rush, or he's just sending 2 spearmen forward for no reason, and those spearmen actually won't do enough. He doesn't even, I don't know if Zombie Killer realizes that these are just regular spearmen. They don't have any sort of hardened upgrade or anything, so these things can easily be sniped down by some knights. And where will this first knight end up going? We do see Zombie Mark 2.0 has pulled off a gold. He realized he got enough gold, and now he is fast trying to catch up on the food game. He already dropped a pasture too, so that'll help out on the sheep as well. And so even though he delayed himself quite a bit, being off of food early, he has now overcommitted on the food, but this will catch him up and be able to drop those deer stones a little bit quicker. We already see archery range being dropped, and we see villagers denied off of gold for no, this is a little bit of an overcommitment denial. And no, that's actually going to be those precious spearmen he just sent out being denied, one of them. And Mark 2.0 can easily go take this back. One knight can easily wipe this up, or one archer once he is able to drop this off. He has more than Zombie Killer has more than enough in the bank to end up keep producing knights, and now he has enough to produce that archer. Spearmen just chilling there doing nothing, and more spearmen coming out. And now we see, oh my gosh, 18 villagers on Deerstone. He wants to get feudal as fast as possible. And this is a little bit of this is idle resources. Remember, the more villagers you put on it, you have diminishing returns as far as how fast it goes. But he was able to catch back up quite fast, and now he's heavy onto the sheep, and he's going to run out of sheep here if he keeps this many vills on. Also, he's not gathering any gold, so it doesn't look like a fast castle play. Archers now starting to come out. These archers will easily be able to continue to thin out the spears on the opposite side. And what are we going to see from Mark 2.0 and Zombie Killer? And look at this. Knight goes exactly to that gold. He's like, none on gold. What the hell is going on? What up, Road? How's it going? How'd your match end up? And now we see Knights and going directly into those spears, and the spears actually get a couple shots there on the Knights, but now archers are going to move up, and they will do a fine job in clearing up those spears. Knights can honestly just ignore these and move all the way around. All right, so spears still kind of just chilling up front, and now we see Knights and Archers are moving forward. As I said, these spears aren't going to be able to do any damage, so he can't really return any fire, so he can just constantly mass up and keep pressuring. He knows that his opponent isn't on gold right now, so currently he shouldn't really be worried about anything. There is a good amount of spears protecting the base, but right now, you should see actually, if I were Zombie Killer, I would drop a Blacksmith, go with Siege Engineering, and just go for the win. Push up with these archers as well. Oh, he was not quite able to get, he got charges down on each of those bills, and that tower will end up going up. But we see a little bit of an overcommitment there by the spears. So spears returning some fire down, but they are getting thinned out now. And once those spears are gone, oh, and what did I say about those, what did I say about the sheep? That is a lot of idle bills there, just chilling around and pulling back. And instead of pulling himself into the town center, he actually just moved him back a little bit. And that's going to be both of those bills, or just one going down. Archers now get dove upon by the horsemen, so a good fight pickup there. And now these 4 spears are not trying to come around on the gold mine to pressure gold, but there is a tower there. He is not close enough for the tower to do anything. And these 3 Knights are now sitting fine and healthy. We see idle time though. Zombie Killer is not producing vills. This is a little more of what you would expect from both of these players. We see sheep run out, a lot of idle time for both of these players. Tons of, like, that is so many vills right there, and he doesn't realize they're idle because he has a sheep that they're waiting on. They're waiting on the other sheep, and so they aren't technically idle. And so this is really, really tough. And then we also see a dive into the front, and that's 19 villagers inside, and that is going to kill all of the spears as well as the Khan. And now this is a second archery range drop, and this is where Zombie Killer can put his foot to the metal. We haven't seen many Knights go down, if any. Zombie Killer has only lost 2 units, whereas he has killed 12 on the opposite side. And it is a 29-6 vill count, military count, compared to 23 and 12. How does Zombie only have 23 villagers? He's the French. He should be ahead by like 3 to 5 villagers here at this point. But he has been constantly idling his TC. He's been focusing on this military. He's been getting good return raids. He's been getting good damage down. But he can't, for that damage doesn't mean anything if you don't produce vills yourself. We do see Mark 2.0 has 1,300 food. He is now swapping over to gold. And so he seems to kind of overcommit on certain resources, floating a ton of food and not doing anything with it. Zombie Killer does have his resources lower, but if Mark 2.0 is able to cure up this gold, he can actually grab all this gold and get up to Castle Age in not too long. Zombie Killer has a good military force. He's got 13 units, and these units are quite scary. No Blacksmith yet. There's the Blacksmith drop. Now his Knights will automatically get that melee damage upgrade, one of the benefits of French, and he should start pressuring this. There is not much military out for Mark 2.0. There are 8 total units. We see it's a combination of spears and horsemen, and the archers perfectly counter the spears, and Royal Knights do better than horsemen. Chivalry has come through as well, so these Royal Knights are healing back up. And now Mark.0 is starting to queue up more military, starting to get more stuff out there. Now all those units, or all of those resources that he was floating, are now starting to thin out. He isn't quite have that Castle Age food resource yet, but now he's overcommitting on the gold. He just seems to send all his villagers back and forth to whatever resource he needs. He needs to thin it out a little bit. If half of these vills were able to stay on the wood and build another pastures or stay on the food and continue to do things like that, he wouldn't have to worry as much. You can see he utilized his food that he had saved up for castle, I believe, on these horsemen and spears now that he's massing up. And the army out of Zombie Killer is much better, but again, we see idle TC out of Zombie Killer, and this is why the numbers aren't as big as we think out of Zombie. He had a lot of return damage. He has the military mass. He's taken the better fights, but he hasn't been producing villagers. It's 27 vills to 33. He's at a 6 villager deficit. But what will he be able to do to return fire? There are a couple spears here sitting in on the gold mine. They can end up bracing for these vills, but now this is a scary force. And what upgrades have come through? We see fitted leather work, so a little bit of ranged or melee armor. Now we see steeled arrow coming in. He wants his archers to do a little bit more. And knights coming around for a raid onto the gold. This outpost does have arrow slits on it, and there are some hardened spearmen now. We saw the upgrade come through, and Mark 2.0 is getting closer to castle. Would expect a Zombie Killer. He needs to put more pressure on than what he has been doing. He's going to be able to deal with this raid fine. His Royal Knight, look at this Royal Knight, able to tank up those 4 horsemen as well as Khan, and have basically taken no damage and good return fire from the TC. Zombie Killer has utilized this TC very, very effectively, but as you'll notice, again, no villagers in queue, no military in queue now. He's distracted with other things. Look at this! Huge raid come down. Oh, and he gets pushed back by the spears, and I don't know if he realizes two of these knights can clear out these spearmen with no problem at all. And now he's sending his archers down as well. He just wants to get as much damage as possible. And if he kills out the spearmen on the opposite side, this will allow his knights to do whatever he wants. And it looks like Mark 2.0 has split his army. Again, this is the same army that just tried to raid a little bit ago. Zombie Killer, though, only at 27 vills. This is not, he hasn't been, look, nothing in queue at all for Zombie Killer. He's too focused with taking down this tower, denying the gold, but behind this, Mark 2.0 actually has enough gold for castle. He's starting to drop pastures, as I mentioned earlier, and now he's starting to collect the sheep, albeit it is inefficient sheep gathering. He didn't queue these up near his TC, and he doesn't really have much military, but again, Zombie Killer, good utilization of the TC. That is going to be the Khan going down. That is going to be another horseman going down, and then he can actually clear up another horseman or two if he so chooses. He doesn't choose. There's one vill over here on the deer that will get raided and die. 27 vills, though. He's forgotten about his TC. He needs to produce. He's sending some return raids down, but now these are going to be his knights going down. Instead of all this, it would have been nice if he just researched siege engineering. Oh, and now raids coming down in his gold. He's got archers, and now he reacts. These will be able to clear up that raid. He is pulling his army back now, but he needs to produce vills. Zombie, building no vills is never a good idea. 37 vills on the side of Mark 2.0, and you see Mark 2.0 actually has utilized some of his gold, so he doesn't have enough for castle anymore. He will end up having to go back to that gold mine or trade some off because he's getting siege engineering now. So siege engineering, even though he does not have wood in the bank to do anything with it, so very odd upgrade in my eyes here for this. But you know, to each his own. And now he can't get castle age. And if Zombie Killer, he actually can allow himself back in the game if he continues to deny gold and keep his knight force healthy. If he keeps this mass of knights alive, this is the huge benefit. But we see idled vills on berries and no production. Zombie, produce! Produce, Zombie, produce, please! Do something! Again, now we see Zombie moving back out. He knows he needs gold, but Mark moving back out. He knows he needs gold, but look at this. The scout is there. He will be able to spot once the villagers do start gathering that gold. So he is there and ready, but another tower going down, proactive tower, and he is close to castle age, but now Zombie is getting closer to castle, and he has remembered his TC. He's starting to build vills. Yay! So this is good. This is one thing. If you're a lower elo, always be producing vills. Always, 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 always. I can't reiterate that enough. Always be producing vills. And now we see Zombie is actually way over on the gold. This gold he is not able to just constantly produce. And we see it though, he's getting closer on that food count to end up getting to Castle Age. And Mark there has reclaimed his gold. He's got a couple bills on gold, and he can reclaim Castle Age here shortly as well. Really, really good back and forth here. It just shows you. It feels like some of these players have gotten the advantage at points in time, but it's always been turning around. There's been overcommitments from the other side, or undercommitments from the other side, or no production from the other side. Zombie, again, he is producing nothing, but he does hear that Castle Age drop. He has the resources for Castle, but does he drop it? We see MarkTwoPointOh also has the resources for Castle, but does he drop it? He has not yet, and neither has Zombie. No, Zombie has dropped it. Zombie is going Castle, and he is going up with the Guild Hall. Exactly what you would want and expect as French. And look at this. Scout spotted out from MarkTwoPointOh, and he will be able to deny that Scout if this Horseman can run him down effectively. He has a little bit more speed. Oh, and he keeps canceling his attack. In that stealth forest, he keeps losing the canceling that attack. And now wall coming up. Scout 1 health. Will it come around the corner? Will it save? It does not. And that goes down, and now Horseman on top of the vills building the wall, and it will take him down. And look at this. Night Raid comes in right as MarkTwoPointOh hits Castle, and there is nothing there. These are so many vills going down. He's not reacting. He's turning around with his vills fighting these knights. And now pulls back with the knights, and look at the decimation on the ground there. Huge, huge, huge return there from Zombie. It's 30-17. And now it is 31-22. So even though Zombie wasn't building for that long, it just shows you how much damage a Royal Knight raid can do if you don't react to it. He has a good archer mass as well that he can move out with. And MarkTwoPointOh, it says his military numbers are 24, but it just seems to be all split all across of units he's forgetting about. And he needs to do the all military hotkey and get stuff back together. Also, these spearmen can easily be sniped down here by Zombie. And there you go. You see him reacting to the spearmen, sniping down the spearmen here now. And being able to push down back now. Pulling the knights back as well. He wants reinforcements here from his archers. And if the archers can kill the spears, the knights can run rampant and do whatever they so desire. Alright, looking here around, we see a Gur here on the wood line. It has not been finished here, so a little bit of inefficient gathering there, and this match now has stalled out a little bit. Both of these players are now at Castle, and typically this is when you would see raids coming in, this is when you would see map control, and people moving out and taking control of more spots on the map. And look at this, Bill's coming out to build this great wall for Zombie. Zombie does not want to have to worry about raids. He wants to just be able to move his whole army out where they are right in front, and this is where the whole entire army of MarkTwoPointOh will have to focus, unless we see three spears come there and they actually decide to back on away. Siege Workshop drop now, Archery Range drops. So these are all forward production buildings. And if the army over here gets cleared out, there's 26 military versus 25. So pretty even military numbers. It's 36 bills versus 38. So it does look like Zombie has, well, I was about to say he's remembered his CC, but now he has suddenly forgotten again. This is Zombie's biggest detriment. He's okay as far as his military count goes. He's been keeping his military alive, but that's probably because he has been forgetting about his TC a little too much. Now he's deciding to move out, and even though the military numbers are basically even, the military here for Mark 2.0 is a little spread out, and they're actually building rams right now. And so he is going to try to put the pressure down and start pushing in, and this is the perfect time for Zombie to take the fight here. He is actually running right by, doesn't see them in the stealth forest though. Look at this. Doesn't see the army at all, just runs right by with his main force. And now Mark 2.0 can react to this, and he actually isn't. Neither person's reacting. They are sitting right next to each other, and they don't even realize it. We see a second TC being dropped for Zombie. This is a good idea, but he needs to produce out of TCs for them to make sense to make. So we'll see if that's going to end up working. And now we see these armies, they're just at a standoff. Well, Hassan, thanks for showing out. And actually, now we see a monk on the map, and that is what he is securing up. And now he spots out the Rams, and he's moving back for the Rams, and he's moving back with that relic. And are we going to see a Wololo potentially? He could end up doing it. We see Spearmen moving out, and oh, there's 4 Knights over here, and that is so much damage there. And now we see Knights are pulled back, and he needs the Knights here for this fight. Wololo could come down. He only has 1 Lancer focusing it. Crossbows, though. Crossbows and archers doing a decent job here. Knights now in the fight, though, and there aren't as many spears left, but look at the crossbow archer number. There were so many men-at-arms staying in melee range, and now it looks like Mark 2.0 is putting his pedal to the metal and continuing to move forward. He has armored units, and Zombie Killer is just backing away now. Zombie Killer needs to keep producing, but not only units, he needs to produce vills. The TCs aren't worth it unless you are producing out of them, and he also has 4 Knights over here that would do wonders here in this fight. It does look like he is clearing up the mass here that has moved forward. He is able to hold here in just a second. Crossbows now out, clearing out those armored men-at-arms, and the Knights are able to stay alive, and those will be able to pick out the crossbows, and it doesn't look like Mark's kiting back with these. We see Zombie Killer has pulled Bills to kill the Rams out. His Blacksmith did go down, but those are the rest of the Rams that should go down as well. We also see now the main military mass that was forward from Mark has been wiped out. It is 40-20 for Zombie. It is 48-19 for Mark 2.0, and this game is just so close to even. We see gold has been mined out for Mark, but he is too focused elsewhere. He has some spears that have moved in, but they are in town center range, and they don't go down. And now that also causes Zombie to find his mass of Knights over here that has been missing, and he can easily kill out these spears if he so desires. Oh, and there we go. He just decides to finally take the fight here. Mark 2.0 is producing only villagers, and Zombie Killer seems to only be producing military. 40-22 for Zombie. It's 48-19 for Mark 2.0. Same number we saw a second ago. And actually, Mark 2.0 has enough to drop to Imperial Age now. Oh, it went away. He spent some gold onto something, and now he just queued up a bunch of stuff. Mangonels, men-at-arms, and he is starting to queue up more and more. And Zombie also producing some Mangonels. Looks like he might start moving out, but he is playing super defensive here. And now he has finally started queuing up more vills out of both town centers. So 42 is the number now compared to 50, and he should catch up on this amount by like super fast with 2 TCs and producing faster as French. Mark keeps having idle vills too. He's got 10 vills over here that built a tower that have just been chilling, and now we actually see a second TC drop from Mark, and this is actually going to be a huge benefit for him because this will he has actually been producing vills. He just hasn't been constantly producing military. We do see, though, military masses on both sides are starting to build up here, and Zombie looks like Zombie is starting to move up here in just a moment, and he has not been pushing. And as we keep mentioning over and over again, earlier we mentioned he should push up on some of these units. He should constantly producing vills, and he hasn't been doing so. Now he's finally kind of started to move out from his great wall, and ooh, a decent little mangonel shot comes down. There aren't a ton of spearmen there, and only 6 spearmen into 10 royal knights will literally do nothing. He's also taking out the crossbows as well, and this is a really, really good fight for Zombie Killer. He kind of baited Mark 2.0 into this, and Mark 2.0 hasn't been producing a ton of units forward here, and Zombie Killer has been producing military, but not villagers. He's up to 50 vills now. Mark 2.0 is at 54, so evened it up a little bit. But the scary part now is the military mass of Zombie. Guys, stop worrying about that. The quarterfinals are best of 3s. Yes, you are correct. All right, look at this, though. Military masses on both sides, and these aren't in the hidden forest this time. That was the huge benefit the first time Mark 2.0 did this, and now he's building rams again. He has enough for Imperial Age yet again, but I don't know if he will drop it. It's not like he will be able to drop a bunch of benefits as far as Imperial Age technologies. And look at this. The 2 rams are moving up, and Mangonel's like, huge shot onto some spearmen there. It would have been much more beneficial hitting some of these crossbow masses, but now that is all the spearmen out on this side and dead on the side of Mark II. Oh, nope, not all of them. There's 2 more left, but only 2 spears into that many Royal Knights is an awful sight to see. And actually, Mangonels from Zombie had moved back, and they would do so much damage. Zombie has the military force to deal with this very easily if he doesn't allow his archers and crossbows to be sniped down by this Mangonel. And there we go, we see the Mangonel fire! Huge damage, and now he finally reacts to it. He finally decides to move up, dive on this Mangonel, but Mangonel does another huge fire down, and he has effectively wiped down the mass of Mark 2.0. And look at this, the forward white stupa with only 7 vills, and if Zombie spots this out, that would be the worst sight to see. He could just go wipe this out, stop his Imperial Age, and get a ton of resources in return. Mark 2.0, like we said, he has been utilizing these town centers correctly, but he needs to produce more military. But luckily for him, Zombie has not been pressuring after he wins these fights. He has not been building up his villager mass. As you see, he is still only at 50 vills and hasn't been able to do anything as far as a huge return. So right now, even though Zombie has the huge military mass, Mark 2.0 is about to finish Imperial. He is dropping down a bunch of barracks, and he has resources in the bank. So even though he's been losing almost all of these fights this game, he has been producing villagers, and that has been the key. And once he gets Imperial now, with his huge economic lead, once he gets some of these men-at-arm upgrades, you know, he forgot to build these barracks. He queued them all up and forgot to build them. But once he gets these men-at-arm upgrades in, once he gets those things tanky as could be, it doesn't matter about the military mass on the opposite side, because you can just let your units just tank out, because you can constantly start producing more and more. We do see a keep drop from Zombie. We see Bill Poles coming to go ahead and burn down these rams, and both of these rams are going to end up going down, it looks like. Zombie, though, we keep mentioning, he needs to pressure, but he hasn't, and that's a very unfortunate sight to see. And now Mark 2.0 realizes barracks have not been building. He wanted to keep producing units, getting upgrades, and he has not. We see Zombie Killer only has 1 monk in the queue, and look at what is coming out from Mark 2.0. Elite men-at-arms, elite spearmen, and those things will make his front line so tanky and so scary, and the numbers will actually not matter as much like before compared to these Royal Knights, compared to these Arbaletiers, and archers. And you can already see how low health a lot of those Arbaletiers are, as well as the archers. And again, now Mark 2.0 is making the correct moves here as far as just non-stop producing vills. Even though he has 17 in Q, 17 in Q is better than 0 in Q. And now it looks like Zombie has started to produce more. Oh, no villagers. He has no villagers in Q. He grabbed his guild hall, and now look at this tower and outpost coming out from Mark 2.0. College of Artillery being dropped by Zombie. He is going up to Imperial, but right now, he is not going to have the economy behind this like Mark 2.0 has. Mark 2.0 has 82 villagers right now. He's got a 32 vill lead on Zombie, and he is starting to push more and more forward. He's already has some of these Imperial Age upgrades. You see the Elite Men at Arms and Elite Spearmen starting to mass up, and look at these. These are 3 barracks non-stop producing. Unfortunately, he forgot to queue up the other 2 barracks. He's got 3 in each of these and 0 in the others. He does have 21 idle vills, so he needs to get that re-macroed here in just a bit. But now he's starting to get towers out and about, and this is one thing that can just be a huge detriment in these low elo games, or when these towers get out and about and start getting these sprinkled upgrades. And imagine if he just jumps in there and gets a sprinkled upgrade. Oh, and look at that, Zombie spots it out and can burn this down if he so chooses, but he does not. He just pulls on away. Goes back to, oh, there he goes. Now he's burning it down. And look at this mass coming in, though. If he kills out these mangonels without Zombie reacting, this is going to be a huge amount of resources down, and that's both mangonels. And now spears are on top of the knights, and he can take this fight. Mark 2.0 could have took that fight. He easily can take this right now and can just push down on the main fight right now. It's 86 and 34 for Mark 2.0. It is 52 and 33. So all of the numbers now are on Mark's favor. He has finally started producing more and more military. No, Stepford down! No, what happened? Oh, this is so much gold being lost, but it doesn't really matter. He's got 3,500 gold in the bank. He needs to drop more barracks and just produce out of everything. He can queue up so many units right now and just get so much out there on the field to just go wipe anything and everything that he so desires. Spears, perfect job by these spears, getting onto the Royal Knights. And look at that, that's 3 Royal Knights that go down, and now the Men-at-Arms are on the crossbows as well. Perfect split here by Mark 2.0. This is a really, really good job here. As far as this fight goes, he is finally deciding to move up, and now he's taking the sprinkled. He's on the main force, and he's also sending his other units in to shoot at a building. Not the greatest there, and now he is fighting under the keep, and this is not what he needs to be doing. He doesn't want to fight under the keep. He should just back away and just try to get on the production buildings, get on the economy. If he just kills out these archery rangers, if he kills out the siege workshop, this will be so much denial. We see more and more outposts. These outposts need to get upgrades, though. He's going arrow slits. He needs to upgrade these with the sprinkled emplacements. But now, look at the job. This is what I mentioned. He is on top of the production now. He needs to keep massing up into here. He isn't utilizing his quadruple barracks, and this now is 31 vills idle. But 54 total economy and only 6 military for Zombie. And now look at the queue out of Mark 2.0. He finally has listened to us. Yeah, it might be a ton of hand cannoneers only out of 2 archery ranges, but at least he is starting to queue stuff up. And once those bombards come out, what is Zombie going to be able to do? He went Imperial, but he doesn't have the economy behind it to do anything. And Mark 2.0 at least has 91 villagers. Yeah, there might be a ton idled here with 31, but those weren't idled for that long, and he is starting to produce a ton of damage here. The big detriment here is Zombie Killer had not been producing villagers. He keeps, like, the second TC was a good idea, but he needs to keep producing villagers. And now his main economy is on top of now the army of Mark 2.0 is on top of the main economy. It's on top of the production building, and now bombards are moving forward, and once those come out, there is not much Zombie's going to be able to do. You see total population for Mark 2.0 is at 125. We see total population for Zombie is half that at 60, and now archery ranges are going down, and there are not enough production buildings to come out. When will these bombards get here to start taking down the landmarks, to start taking down anything and everything in front of the path? First archery range does end up going down, and look at how tanky these elite men-at-arms are. They're going on for the next production building. He has some hand cannoneers and crossbows trying to take down the guild hall, but all that matters is going to be when this bomber gets here. And also, outposts now being masked up, as well as another ram, and all he needs to do is start attacking, keep massing up, utilize these resources in the bank. We see Mark 2.0's Q, hand cannoneers, elite men-at-arms, crossbows, and he is scary. Now, Zombie Killer is down only at 63 total population, still isn't producing villagers. He's got some Arbaletiers and Q, but they just are not going to be enough compared to the main force here. And there we go, Bomber, boom, starts taking down and shoots the main guild hall. This will be the first landmark going down. Knight cannot even dive on the bomber. There were spears there ready, and first landmark gets taken down. And soon after that will be the others to follow. Crossbows trying to do enough here, but they don't do nearly enough into hand cannoneers. And this is where now Zombie is in trouble. He does have some villagers behind and over here with the farming economy untouched, but there is just going to be so much damage, and he doesn't have any military or anything coming out to try to even out this mass. And Mark 2.0 has a ton of resources in the bank, a ton of stuff, and now main town center getting rammed down, as well as the bomber shooting houses, shooting the next production buildings, and men-at-arms running in the front as well. This is all but GG at this point in time. This is going to be a hard struggle if Zombie Killer wants to stabilize, wants to come back and make this happen. Look at this, we have friendly mining here as well. They just said, hey, we're grabbing gold with each other. There's all this hecticness going on. Some of us can be friends here. And there we go, the next town center, and a forfeit comes out. Zombie Killer was not able to take the victory. We see Mark 2.0. It was able to sustain the feudal pressure and the damage coming out there. Zombie Killer needed to produce more villagers early on, and it would have been a big different map. So you'll notice that here with the villager timeline. However, a lot of flat here, and these need to constantly be going up, but that's what you do expect. Great battle out, and Mark 2.0 is going on to the next round.